I have seen from my experience coaching Agile in different organizations, different teams, um, many teams. I think really, I will say 80% or more follow some kind of hybrid. I have not seen, um, too many organizations using pure Agile. They have some component of waterfall mixed with this, and it just depends how much. Uh, so hybrid is something which is very common, and many times this topic is avoided. Oh, we are following hybrid practice, so we're not agile or something like that. But I can tell you this is what the reality is. And so we are going to talk about hybrid practices. What are those, and how do you decide when to use it, and various questions around hybrid practices. Uh, Feel free to ask your questions. Put those questions in the chat. I will also stop in between to allow you for questions. Okay. So what we are going to do, this is the agenda. We'll have little introductions, expectations, and then we will get into introduction to hybrid. Okay. And we'll talk about steps to create hybrid. Um, we'll discuss some of the examples of hybrid, and then of course we are going to do quiz, and quiz will have 5 questions, and they will announce what we covered today, and then we have Q&A at the end. Okay, so that's the rough agenda for today's webinar. So let's start with what are your expectations from this webinar? When you signed up, you saw it. So let's go to our tool here, Menti. So from your device, go to menti.com and use this code and respond. So what are your expectations? You can use your phone, you can use your laptop, iPad, tablet, whatever you have. Yeah, okay. Guidelines for hybrid. Very good. Very good. Best practices, ideas. Very good. Very good. Anybody else? Understand hybrid model? Yeah. Are we okay? Yeah. Yeah, right. 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 Yeah. What else? Okay. Let's move. Let's move on. Let's move on. So some of you who don't know me, I have been doing agile coaching for over 10, 15 years now. Worked with companies like IBM, Charter, Wells Fargo, and many other companies, helped those teams, probably more than 200 teams, to transform to Agile. My company, RefineM, that I started 11 years ago, does project management consulting and improving. I do some of that, but most of my time goes with Agile transformation, Agile coaching. Um, we do lots of training. We have over 40 different topics on which we provide training. These are some of the ones that are listed. And during this period, we created some products. Some of them are listed here. And before starting my organization, I worked in full-time jobs for almost 30 years doing project management. I was born in India, in Meerut, a small town in North India. And I live in Kerry. If you're not speaking, can you please mute your microphone, or Philip or Sarah, if you can mute their microphone? Thank you. All right. So effective hybrid practices, this is the one I'm doing today. I'm going to repeat this at projectmanagement.com and the next webinar. So if you want to join again, you are more than welcome. Usually there is a big audience there, maybe about 1,500, 2,000 project professionals. You can join again, or if you want to tell your colleagues, they can join on projectmanagement.com. Okay, all right. So once again, let's say, what is the state of Agile in your organization or maybe your team? Do you use Agile, hybrid, or Waterfall approach? So we'll go back to Menti and try to get that answer from you. And if you do not use any one of these, that's also fine. So hybrid, yeah, got it. Waterfall, okay, very good. Anybody else? I don't know how many people are in the webinar. Maybe somebody can tell me. I don't see the list there.
Looks like 13.
Okay, all right. So I guess as I was saying that about 80% of the organization use some kind of Agile. So that's reflected here in this group too. Said most of you are using some kind of hybrid. So that validates what I was talking about. All right, let's move on. So Waterfall, we all know Waterfall, right? It has been there for several years, right? More than 50, 60 years or even before. And even more than that, I think there was a construction project manager that was the project management that existed for a long period of time. The people used to do projects. So they must be using some kind of waterfall where you do requirements, then you do design, and then you development. And this is not just the software. The projects were done in the similar manner. So if it is a software project, you will do coding. If it is a non-software project, you will do whatever development activities there, whatever execution activities there. So that is what you will do, and testing, maintenance, and deliverables from one stage will go to as a input to the next stage. So we all know this. This is very much known. So I'm not going to spend much time on this. And also, many of you know Agile, right? Which is taking all the requirements, breaking them into smaller chunks, and then taking those smaller chunks and running multiple iterations. And at the end of each iteration, you produce a ready-to-use deliverable that a customer can use. And of course, you do daily review, you do retrospective, you do refinement, you do collaboration, all that, and daily, and then review with the customer too. So this is also a very well established, very simple. Agile is very, very simple, but I can tell you it's very difficult to implement. Extremely difficult to implement it because it's a very different mindset. It requires very different culture, very different culture. So very different mindset, very different culture, very different kind of practices, very different thought. I'm not getting into the details of differences between waterfall and agile here because that's not the topic, but I just wanted to put in context the waterfall and the agile, and we all know, but I wanted to put that in context. Now, when you come to hybrid, this is the most common that I have seen. And we are going to talk about variation of this, right? But this is the most common that I have seen. You do the requirements, you do the design, which seems like it is like a waterfall. So you do the all requirements, you do the design for that. But when you come to the execution part, when you come to the development part, then you get into iterations. You divide the whole backlog into multiple iterations, and many times, and this iteration in usual, when we are talking about this scenario of agile, the iteration is usually 2 weeks, right? That's what usual it is. But when you come to hybrid, the iteration could be anything. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. Sometimes this iteration could be even more than 4 weeks. So, and that's what hybrid is all about. It's not just 2 weeks. Most of the agile, or closer to agile, if you'll say, is 2 weeks. And the teams that transition from waterfall to agile, many times they follow this. Because what happens in the organization, that organization have some kind of a approving body, steering committee, or whatever you call. They approve the project before the project can go any further. So they need and the team needs the entire requirements to be done for that project to be, create a timeline and a plan. Your project managers, you know that all. So you need to have requirements done reasonably detailed level, so that you can estimate, you can put together a plan that goes to the steering committee. We will need these many resources, this much time, this much cost, and all those kind of things. And they look at the portfolio of all the projects, and this new project coming in, should this be approved or not approved. So for that reason, you need to have that thing in place, because even if the team would like to do these iterations, the approval process here, it doesn't allow for iterative approvals. Approval has to happen in one go. And then similar thing is that design, because the architects and designers would like to, they are not very familiar how to do design, evolving design, on the go kind of thing. So they would like to put all the design together, and then the team can pick up things. They anyway pick up things in a piece by piece, because they will think about a waterfall where you will have a work breakdown structure and things like that. You divide that into work packages anyway, right? So you can think about each work package as an epic in agile world, and then epic is divided into smaller stories, and then you have your 2, 3, 4, 5 week sprints or iterations, and you complete that. You deliver a kind of fully tested deliverable, whatever that is, fully tested deliverable, which you can review with your customer, get the feedback, and say, is it as per the requirements that you approved or not? And you get that feedback, and then go to the next iteration, and when all the work packages are done, then you go live, not before that. Sometimes there could be some variation here, that the UAT, user acceptance testing, may also wait for everything to be finished. But in many cases, the UAT could be part of this iterative cycle. As the things come, they test, the users test. Many organizations where the users are not actively involved, there the team will do their own testing, and then keep it ready for the UAT. So there could be one more orange bar here for the UAT. That could be a variation that we can see. And then, of course, this is a big bang, go live in one go. and then you have maintenance. Okay, I will pause here for a few seconds to see if anybody has any questions or any comments on this general kind of a hybrid model. We will talk about variations very soon, but this general kind of hybrid model. Any questions, any comments, you can put in the chat, or you can unmute your microphone or raise hand, so we we can hear what you want to say, or you can type. And Sarah is monitoring the chat box and see if she can bring it to me. So let's see if there are any questions or comments about the general kind of hybrid model, or most common, I will say most common hybrid model. Any questions or comments?
But the 11th person to win the highest Powerball jackpot, that was
Any comments? Anything you see in the chat box, Sarah?
No, I don't see anything.
Anybody has any questions? All right, we will move forward. Maybe the questions will come later. So let's move forward. All right. So what are the benefits? What benefits you get by implementing hybrid method or hybrid model? It is a tailored approach. First of all, the benefit is tailored approach. So as I was discussing, that UAT could be part of it, or design could be part of the iterative part. Sometimes the even deployment could be, but as you include more and more in your iterative cycle, you get closer to Agile. Okay. As you have less and less in your iterative cycle, you are more towards Waterfall. So this is the way to transition a team from Waterfall to Agile, and you can do it in slowly improving the agility of the team. Change management is easier in hybrid because it's moving more towards Agile. So even if your requirements were approved and your design was locked, but you have little flexibility if the people have mindset of, when you come down to the development or execution part, if you see something, some input came from the user, right? The user came back and say, oh, now I see it, and probably it will work out better if it is done in a different manner. So, and many times, teams have an excuse like this, that, oh, if we open it to users, we may get a lot of changes, and change management becomes difficult. But if you have that mindset of, agile mindset of welcoming change, it will be easier to do, because you are running still in iterative cycle. You can negotiate for change. You can negotiate. You can say, okay, you want to make this change, but this is how this is going to impact. So if we are not changing the timeline or the cost, then what comes out? So something which may not be highly important or highly critical may come out. Okay, so you can still do that without going through the full change cycle. You can have a negotiation and you can document that, and if all the parties agree to that, this is what we are going to do as the change. Because when we provide the deliverable for review, there will be some input that will come, and that will require some changes, and those changes are negotiable. So let's make it easier. Right? Not resisting change, and not putting everything through the change management process and going to the change approval board or things like that. Okay. There is an increased stakeholder engagement if you have included the review by the users and stakeholder in that iterative portion of the model or the method. There is increased learning because of that iteration going on in between, and because of the same reason you have innovation and improvements that happen during the project. And it actually helps sticking to budget and schedule because of the negotiations that take place, and you know what got done, and you are much closer to your stakeholders in this method. So it's more going towards agile. So you can negotiate, you can take the things in, take the things out, and that can help in sticking to the budget and the schedule because of that open channels that you have with your stakeholders. And there is increased learning. There is increased learning because of that communication happening, not happening, at the end of the project, but happening continuously. So that allows for greater understanding, greater collaboration. We should put those here actually. Greater understanding, greater collaboration. That helps in understanding the team and the stakeholders, users, everybody on the same page, and everybody driving towards keeping the budget and schedule, uh, you know, keeping them in check, and also delivering higher value. And you try new things. So what other benefits do you see with hybrid approach? And let's get to Menti here. Maybe that's more easy to take some inputs here. So what other benefits do you see with a hybrid approach? What other benefits do you see? Better communication. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Improved efficiency. Yeah. Things move faster. Yes. Better communication, improved efficiency. Absolutely. More flexibility. Yes, absolutely. More flexibility for delivery. More progress sooner. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. That's right. And let all input come. Then I will tell you some common which I've already started seeing with the inputs that we got so far. What else? Early enough feedback to make changes early. Yes. Quicker problem solution. Yeah. Quicker problem resolution. Flexibility. Yeah. Somebody also talked about flexibility up there. Yes. Yeah. That is right. So please keep providing the feedback, and we'll start talking about this feedback. So if you see this feedback, realistic and pragmatic, very good, excellent. So if you see all this input here, 7 or 8 things over here, and some I shared in the PowerPoint, you can see how from a rigid waterfall, the team is moving more towards agile mindset, flexibility, efficiency, early feedback, quicker problem solving, pragmatic. You see the words, right? You see the words, and this is what you are telling. I'm not telling you. I was telling you what were on the slides, right? This is what you are telling me, and you are telling everybody else, right? This is what you are telling. This is what you have experienced. 80% of you who are using hybrid, right? This is what you are telling. Possibility of aborting without that's right. Due to fatal assumptions. Absolutely. This is one of the benefits of agile, that you can stop early, right? You can stop early with some waterfall basic structure consistency. Yeah, absolutely. So, and these are the kind of benefits that the companies get, even if they are not truly agile, right? Even then, if you start bringing some kind of iterative process in your waterfall method. I think that provides so much benefit, and many teams are utilizing that benefit. Okay, all right, let's move on. So my next question to you will be, in which cases hybrid approach is a good fit? What are the situations for the organization's teams? What you look for? And you can say, hey, yeah, hybrid may work. Hybrid may be a good approach here, or hybrid may be a good fit here. What are those kind of situations? And 80% of you who are using it know it, right? It's a kind of thing working in your situation. So if you were to describe that, how that description will look like, what in what situations hybrid approach is a good fit? Oh, I thought it will start coming fast. Let's see. When hybrid is a good fit. Wow, no one. That's surprising. Are you able to get to the Menti? Yeah, you are able to get to the, yeah. Yeah, you are able to.
Yeah, for some reason. Yeah, for some reason, it's not showing up.
Some reason
We
it
are
is not.
entering the comments, but it's not showing up.
Wait. Let's go back. Okay. Yeah, I see one response so far. People are not co-located. Okay.
I think you need to refresh the screen, refresh the page.
Yeah.
Menti.
Okay.
I had
Usually, okay, medium size, medium complexity project. So I don't know, it usually refreshes itself. So Sarah, maybe you have to look what, maybe you picked up something, I don't know, web design. Okay, okay, all right. Now it's refreshing itself.
Marketing.
Now it's refreshing. Okay, yeah.
Marketing.
Somebody said marketing. Yeah, that's right. New concept, non-repeatable process. Yeah, okay. Okay, so like some kind of a research if you're doing, new concept, new research, the research projects, yeah, changes in scope, needing scalability, when interim results are useful, yeah, very good, very good, very good. So, okay, let's see what, when low flexibility in the way features can be delivered. Okay, very good, excellent. So let's see, in my experience, what I have seen, the situations. So the very first one, organization with rigid process that want to maintain organization control and structure, but still want the opportunity to improve and update the project as it is progressing. So this is a excellent fit, and I want to tell you a real situation that I faced in one of the projects in one of the agile coaching engagements, very big company. So we were doing our regular 2-day agile workshop with the senior leaders of that company, and it's an automotive company, very big name, and I'm not giving that name here, but very big name. And so we were into it, and they follow a very rigid, hard stage gate process. So 7 or 8 gates, like any development cycle. And that was a software development or the CIO's team, and CIO was also present. And so after about first session ended in about 1.5 hours, we had a break. So the CIO came to me and he said, NK, what you are telling me is great, but it's not going to work here. We cannot change our process. We cannot move it at all, because even if I want to do it, there are 6 other CIOs across the world. All of us have to agree to change it. And this process, what we have right now, Waterfall, has been working for last 40 years. It's not going to change. So if you can figure out how you can implement Agile in this environment, then that is useful for me. Otherwise, you can teach Agile to my folks, and I'm not going to spend my time. So it was no value for him, and it was difficult for me and a couple of my other coaches who were with me in that situation. So we say, okay, we sat down together and see, okay, what can we do about it? How we can bring hybrid into this situation. And the process is not going to change. No iterative business, right? So it's not going to change. But we wanted to deliver we wanted to produce deliverables faster, get feedback faster, and those kind of regular Agile kind of benefits. So what we came up with that in this situation, what you can do is, let's say it is a 1 year long project, right? So you will finish everything in 1 year, all design, development, testing, coding, delivery, UAT, everything. Okay. So that's 1 year, and all project managers know how to create a plan and do this. Okay. So what we came up with the idea that, if there are 50 work packages that are going to be delivered, then can we divide those 50 packages into 5 groups, and maybe deliver first group in 3 months or 4 months, and then deliver every other package, every other group in 2 months iterations, kind of a thing. So we will satisfy principle number 1 of Agile, which is satisfy customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software, right? We could achieve that, so the customer doesn't have to wait for a year to get everything. They can start getting things from month 3 or month 4, and then from that point onward, they can keep getting it. We are not disturbing the process at all. So this is a very rigid kind of a situation. Even in that kind of a situation, you can inch them towards agility. So we started talking to them and said, see, now the question comes, how do we take these work packages and combine into smaller groups? So we can do maybe 10 to 12 each group, so we get 4 groups, right? Or can we do more than that? Can we divide them into 5 groups? Can we divide them into 8 groups? Can we divide them into 10 groups? Can we divide them into 20 groups? So more divisions we do, and that's the concept of Agile, breaking the whole thing into smaller chunks, right? That's what we do. So we take these, and then maybe the first one will be maybe 2 months, and then every month we deliver. So it is not only, it's even better than the model that I was showing you, because it was a big bang delivery in the one model that I just talked about. In this case, we were able to do even better than that. So if you are focused on, if you can divide your requirements into smaller chunks, and so that they can be put into production, the whole concept of, the MVP and then adding more functionality over the MVP. So if you can create your MVP, and if you can create it as a small MVP as possible, practically, realistically possible, so that user can use it, and then take it through your current process, right? Whatever that process, you don't have to even change it, right? Take it through the process and deliver it and implement it, and then take the next set of process, next set of requirement, next set of requirement, next set. So you are basically not changing your process, but still achieving agility, right? Still achieving agility. So even in those organizations, it could be a good fit, right? And then, of course, you would have read by now all the rest of the slide. So I don't have to. Highly regulated industries, where the things are highly regulated. In those also, the agile could be very useful. And I have worked in insurance and finance industry a lot, where which are both of them are highly regulated industries, right? So in those industries, a regulation comes, and it comes with a deadline, right? That you have to be compliant by this day or date, right? But things are not clear. What actually this regulation means, how you are going to implement in your system. It takes a lot of time to get that clarity. Now, if you wait for everything to be cleared, everything to be clarified, it takes a lot of time, because you reach to the people who created these regulations. And I have seen this struggle go on. The business analysis and SMEs are trying to figure things out, what this regulation, and some are pretty straightforward and simple, but some are very, very difficult, So what can happen is that whatever clarity you have, you can start working through that clarity. And then as the things become more clear, you can make change and come back and make change. So I think for highly regulated industries, it to me looks like it's going to be a very good approach. So you keep your iterations, keep developing iteratively, and deliver it once, because that regulation has to go live once. It cannot go live in pieces. But you can keep working on it. You can keep clarifying things. You can, as the things get clarified, you make the changes, and more changes, and more changes, and more changes, and so on. Okay, so you can. That's another kind of a place where hybrid could be very, very useful. Um, I will pause here for a little while and see if there are any questions or comments. Anybody has any questions or comments? Maybe Menti is a good way to do that. Let's move on. Okay, we already talked about when to use hybrid. So what are the best practices in establishing a good hybrid model for your team? So the very first thing is developing a value stream map that integrates Agile and Waterfall. Very important to visualize your process. And VSM does a wonderful job in analyzing the process and visualizing the process. So it's important to do it. You start from there. If you want to implement a new process, which is a hybrid, start from value stream map. How much iterative you can be, right? What will work in your environment? What components of your process can become agile or can follow agile, and what phases of process cannot follow agile, and based on your situation. So it's important to start with a value stream map, define what agile and waterfall practices will be used when, right? Include the entire team and the stakeholders in defining the process, because they are going to be part of it. So they should take part in, working through the process. Clear communication with the team and stakeholders is another very important thing. And once you have created this new method or new process for you, you collect, analyze, and report metrics, because that's how you will know whether you are getting better or not. If your delivery, quality, and all those important parameters are improving or not, what are those metrics? Start collecting those, start reporting them, and then regularly review the process. Do retrospectives, right? How this process is working. You may not do it every 2 weeks. That may not be necessary, but Maybe do it like every month, maybe do it every 3 weeks, whatever works out, whatever the team decides together makes a kind of makes meaningful to the team. So you can do that. Waterfall teams do what you call lessons learned at the end of the project, right? All of us are very familiar with that. But that end of the project lessons learned is not much useful. Of course, you can say that we can learn from this and apply in the other project, but when you go to the other projects, a new team. In a matrix environment, when you work in a matrix environment, every project gets a new team. Maybe you know each other somewhat well, but the team is new. So the way you are working with another set of users, it may be new. So it's a new team, and it has to go through that all stages of forming, storming, norming, performing. All of that need to happen. So really, that learning what you got at the end of the project is not useful in the current project. But if you did this regular review of the process or regular retrospectives, if you did it once a month or so for a year-long project, then you can actually apply that learning within the project. Okay, I highly recommend this to all waterfall and hybrid teams to do this retrospective at least once a month. Even if you're not delivering anything, still doing that retrospective once a month is very valuable. All right. So what are the steps to create a hybrid approach? What steps? So first step is identify project goals in context. In what context we are talking about? What are the goals that we want to achieve? So that's very important to start with that, and then you develop a value stream map of how the process, what is the best way for the process to work. As I was talking about agile components and non-agile components, waterfall components, what is the context? You have the context, like number one, I talked about establishing the context. And then based on that value stream map, what you develop, co-create. Co-create means everybody creating together. A fit for purpose hybrid process. Fit for purpose means it is fit for the project to achieve those project goals and meet in that context. Hybrid process, picking up best practices from waterfall and agile. So this is what is your new process, and this is what you are going to follow. So develop that fit for purpose hybrid model, identify matrix, as I was talking about, implement new hybrid process, and measure and improve continuously. And all these steps, what you're doing is best done if it is done with the entire team. All right, then there are some other examples that that I wanted to call, and we have given some names. You can give your own names, okay? That doesn't matter. So Scrum-Ban is also a hybrid because it is hybrid of Scrum and Kanban, right? The two different agile methodologies, but it is hybrid. Hybrid need not be between waterfall and agile only. It could be agile, right? So Scrum is a pro Scrum method, pro Kanban method. You combine the two. It's called a Scrum-Ban, where you follow 2-week iterations, but then you have a Kanban board, and then use that Kanban board. You may not deliver everything every 2 weeks. You may not deliver. You deliver whenever it is ready. But then you do your daily meetings, you do your retrospectives on a regular basis, and you do your planning and grooming meetings on a regular basis. Other one is we call is Water Scrum Fall, where it was similar to what I was talking about: initiation and planning in Waterfall, execution, monitoring Agile, and closing Waterfall. So this is another variation. And then there is another variation where you do initiation and planning in a waterfall, but the rest is all iterative. Execution, monitoring, closing. Closing means putting into production, for doing UAT and putting into production. But this may be needed where there is a requirement for getting a sign off on the project and getting an approval from your steering committee. But then you don't have to do big bang like this. You can implement as you go. So there's another variation of hybrid. There could be others too, right? Anything that you can think of, and maybe on the side if you can draw and willing to share that towards the end, that will be great. So in conclusion, a hybrid method allows a team to reap benefits from both waterfall and agile. Can work well in several settings, requires team collaboration and through communication. So this is wonderful actually. So you don't have to feel bad about if you're falling using hybrid and you're not using true agile. It's the fact of life, right? So and feel good and see how you can push the envelope and move towards agility. All right. So now we'll get into the quiz. So if you are there in the Menti, let's start the quiz. So let's see how many people want to join the quiz. And if you join the quiz and you are the winner, then you get top 2 winners get as a reward. They get access to one of these products over here. Okay, so let's do that. So I have 6 players, 7. Very good, 7. Anybody else want to join? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. Let's get started. So you answer fast to get more points. Okay, so most of you are right. So let's say how this race looks like. Somebody named Frosty is leading this. Okay, let's go to the second one. So the second question here. Okay, wow, everybody got it right. Excellent. So, but see who did the fastest. Okay, seems like Frosty is leading, but there could be some changes happening here. Oh, Eddie is still second. All right. So let's go to the next one. Which is not a best practice. Okay, not a best practice. Very good. Most of you are right. Okay, this is the top 2 are still top 2. All right, this is the last one, I guess. No, second, but the last. When would you use a hybrid approach? Okay, oh man. Okay. Wow. So Frosty is the one, and Frosty is still leading. Let's do the last one. Frosty, don't do this wrong, man. Is not a benefit of agile, of hybrid approach. Okay, spread over result. Let's see. Ooh, Frosty, Andy, what's went wrong? So there is going to be some upsetting here. Okay, so Frosty is the winner. Earthman is the second. So if you guys, Sarah can put her email address on the chat. You can approach Sarah and tell which one you want to have, and then Sarah can arrange for that. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how strongly will you recommend this session to others? So let's see, what do you think about this session? All right. Very good. And the next one is, what topics would you like to see in future webinars? Is there any topic that we do it every month, right? So we can work on any topic. We already may have topic. I have more than 40, 50 topics that I discuss. Okay, Lean Six Sigma. Okay, all right. You can put here your choices, and let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, questions. All right, time for questions. Any questions anybody has? We have, saves me 5 minutes left. We have a lot of training opportunities coming up. We have 25% off public courses running until 31st of July. If you or anybody want to get some training taken care in next couple of months, you have an opportunity here. This is how you will get your one PDU, and you will receive the slide deck. Okay. Questions? I will stop sharing. You can open up your microphone or type in the chat. Anybody has any questions? Could you go back to the CCR? Okay, CCR. Let me do that. CCR. You mean this one, right? Okay. Video recording link. Yeah, that will be available on our YouTube after some time, maybe after a couple of days or so. It will be available on our YouTube channel. All right. Thank you very much. You have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.